All right, so here's our latest edition. Let's open this box up and see what we got. Get those off there. Looks very bright blue. It's a little bit concerning. Oh wow. All right, so what we've got here is a new Lionel Legacy Camelback in the Blue Comet fantasy paint scheme. So the paint scheme on this one, like I said, is fantasy. Sometimes that's a little controversial. I don't usually order those, but sometimes they provide a little extra color and something different. So I ordered this one because I have a set of MTH Rail King Blue Comet passenger cars that I wanted to run with this, and I thought the smaller sized 60-foot passenger car would look really good with the Camelback. And I've had some of these Lionel Camelbacks before. This is the first time they've done it in Legacy, and so I knew I was going to get one. I may, depending on how the sounds and everything are, I may actually get a second one. I have a Pennsylvania Reading Seashore tender from the prior release that I might put on the tender shell on a Reading or something similar. But we'll see how this one looks first. Initial thoughts, I'll go through some overview here, but it looks very bright blue. This does not look like what I think of as Blue Comet blue. But I have a Lionel Legacy Blue Comet Pacific that we'll pull out and kind of do a side-by-side comparison of color. I know Lionel's had some color issues recently, but we'll see what they look like side by side and what it looks like next to the passenger cars. But first, let's look at some of the details and features of this engine. All right, so the first thing you'll see is the white wall drivers. I really like those. I think it makes them pop quite a bit. You've got here cab figures. One of the things that Lionel did do here, which I was glad they did, is the coupler, the scale coupler in the front is actually not part of the die-cast mold. it's removable and you could put a scale coupler here. So I've thought about double heading this with my Pacific. And so I was glad to see that they made that upgrade, because this is existing tooling. This is not new tooling. This is the tooling that they've run for Lion Chief products and all the way back to the Camelbacks that they made in the early 2000s with TMCC. So you've also got a real coal load. You can see, looks like the details here are pretty good. Moving bell. But overall, first impression, details pretty good. Not crazy about the paint color, but we'll see how it matches up. All right, you can see here the color difference is pretty night and day. On the left is the new Camelback, obviously, and on the right is a Lionel Legacy Scale Pacific in the Blue Comet scheme from probably about 10 years ago or so. It's a little dusty and dirty. It's been sitting on a shelf before I got it, but you can see that it is a huge difference in color. In my opinion, the Camelback color it looks kind of toy-like. It doesn't look like a scale model. I'm a little disappointed in the difference in color. I knew I was taking a risk, with some of the color issues that Lionel's had, but being that they've made, Blue Comet engines in the past, I thought they would use the same paint, and maybe shame on me for making that assumption. But those are kind of initial thoughts on appearance. So let's run it around the layout and see what the sounds like. All right, so let's check out some of the bells and different whistles. This is the first whistle that it comes with, which I believe this is the same one that has been used in the 10-wheelers. I have one of those, or two of those actually, and I believe that's the same one. So let's see the second whistle. Interesting. So that's the Pennsylvania Railroad Banshee whistle. It's a good one. I like that one. A little bit bassier. All right, let's check out the bells. That's the first bell. Second bell. Sounds very similar. There we go, that's the second bell. Third bell. Fourth bell. Fifth bell. That last one's pretty high pitched. It's a little different. I like that.
Dispatcher, error is made. Brake test complete. Are we clear to pull? Over. Hold your position. Out.
The crew talk and audible sounds sound pretty similar to the standard, what Lionel is putting in these standard, kind of mid-end, I'll call them legacy engines, similar to the 10-wheeler, and I'm sure with the consolidation that they just announced in the last catalog will sound like. I wish they would go back to the road-specific crew talk, that actually announces the road number and doesn't sound so generic, because I've got a couple of these engines now that kind of all have the same generic sound sets. So a little more variety, I think, would be good. But overall, sound quality is great. Some good whistle options in there. you know, the only thing I'm really unhappy with at this point is the paint color. So you saw the difference with the Legacy Blue Comet Pacific, and you can see here in the background and in some of these clips the difference between my MTH passenger cars, which honestly match the Legacy engine really well. So, you know, it's not like I'm trying to match MTH colors to Lionel colors. I'm comparing apples to apples with a Legacy Pacific. So I'm pretty disappointed in the color difference. You know, I'm not even sure what I'm gonna do with this engine yet. If I'm gonna keep it or you know, try to return it or sell it, because the reason I bought it was to run with these passenger cars, and it looks kind of silly next to them. So I'm curious to see if Lionel does anything about this. I know they've had Harry Heike repaint some stuff in the past, but that's just, you know, I didn't know they did that with the N&W J's. They repainted the red stripe, but this is the whole engine. So I'm curious to see if they do anything about this. I would be surprised if they did. But you know, overall, I would say, you know, if color match is important to you, this probably isn't the right engine for you. If you're looking for a great value in a Legacy engine and you're not too worried about color, it's a fantastic engine. And like I said, I'm interested in some of the other road names too. You know, that have a little bit different color or a little bit more standard colors, you know, like a Redding or CNJ. But I may put that Pennsylvania Redding Seashore Tender on there, like I talked about. But here's some clips of it running around the layout. Enjoy, and I'll let you be the judge.
Dispatcher, am I cleared to the outbound? Over.
Hold for signal indication. Dispatcher out.
Dispatcher, we're ready. Is it okay to pull? Over.
Take the green. Out.